Okay, streaming, perfect streaming it says. So let's see if I am live on Facebook. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for being a bit late. I will talk about what happened in a few seconds. Let me just very briefly check if my sound is going well. So let me see. Check if my sound is going well. That sounds good. So that is great. Now let me check if this is also going well, because last time I thought I had good sound, but that was not the case. But it now seems to be okay. So welcome everyone. Welcome to the show. Welcome. We will be going live very shortly. Let me just put in some music. And I'm still a little bit falling behind because, first of all, my Windows computer started to upgrade, then that crashed, it didn't work, then I reverted back to the previous version of Windows, then Windows 10, then my Mevos needed to be upgraded as well, and there was no way back. It really needed to be done then. So that was also something that was just like 2 minutes ago. And my streaming software is also upgraded, so if something happens, it's the way it is, I think, today. So welcome everyone, welcome to the show. I have an exciting show for you lined up. Today we're going to talk about music from the Netherlands, the place where I am streaming from. But also I have some announcements to talk about, but we're not that far yet, so let's try to get this organized as well, because I was also planning to show you some stuff. Alright, and because of all the problems that we had just a few minutes ago, that was a bit on the late side of things, but I'm still pretty happy that I will be able to do the show for you guys. So I think I'm done. So that's 1 minute to go. And I see there's a lot of people joining today, so that's great. So welcome, my mom is here. René is in. Guten Tag, René, wie geht's? Floyd is in. Welcome, Floyd. Paul Dixon is in. Cool. What a Mevo update 2. What a day indeed. It was really an update day. And luckily, I typically start this, preparing the show roughly an hour in advance. So luckily I do that. So that's the reason why at the very end I am live. But being new software, not tested, it is giving me a little bit of a creeps. But we'll see what happens. 30 seconds to go for the show. I am really excited. Oh, by the way, if you have time, please share this video to get a little bit more people involved. And we will be talking also about Patreon, because I have something which I'm going to do after the show, which I like you maybe to participate, but you need to be a patron to be able to see it. So that is in 3 seconds. And unfortunately, the music will go very abrupt, so sorry about that. Boom, it's gone. So, anyways, welcome to Petrus Musicano. Welcome to the show. It's great to see you guys again. And before I start, I would really send my appreciation to these guys over here that are also promoting the show, also supporting the show by being a Patreon on patreon.com/PetrusMusicando. Without you guys, I am not able to really do the show on a weekly basis. But there will be some announcements at the end of the show. Like I said in the pre-show, today was really a bit of an update date because a lot of things happened. My live stream system got upgraded, both the streaming software and Windows. Windows didn't go well, so I got a real an oops screen for that. And both my Mevo cameras are also upgraded, so that everything in just like a half an hour before the show starts. So if by any chance something goes wrong, sorry for that in advance. But hey, that is live video, and hey, that happens. Anyways, I have a tremendous amount of people are joining, which is great. So Floyd is in, Betty is also in, great, and Renee, etc. So really, really cool that you guys are in. So what are we going to talk to you about? Well, we're going to talk about the Netherlands and what kind of music that we have brought forward. So let's delve into it, shall we? And we're back live. So today we're going to talk about the Netherlands, and the Netherlands is not. I would say it is a. Well, it's a small country, so if we would say we have a tremendous amount of music, well, that is not really the case. But the Netherlands is well, from my perspective, of course, as being a Dutch person, a great country if it comes to music. Although we don't really have music that is really specific to the Netherlands, but we do have Dutch music. Now, Dutch music is something that I'm not going to do in this show because if I would do that, you will probably end up having something like, I don't understand a word about it, so I just leave it at that. But let me just say that one of the things that we are really good at here in the Netherlands, if it comes to Dutch music, is that we have music about life and love and that kind of thing, right? So it's a little bit of a melodramatic music. That's me saying that. Um, it's not my cup of tea. I do like Dutch music, but they're more rocky, poppy music, and I'm not going to really talk about it in this show. I'm going to stick to music that is actually in English. So we're not talking about Made in Holland. Everybody says Made in Holland, and actually that is not the case. It is made in the Netherlands. So that's the reason why I just thought, well, just swipe it through, say Netherlands, because the Netherlands is really 12 provinces, and Holland is just two of those. Okay, granted, we have Amsterdam, Rotterdam, The Hague in those two, but still, it's just a small part of the Netherlands, so it's not that big. So what we're going to talk about today is really about music that comes from the Netherlands, and that is in the most general way of talking about it. So we call it Nederpop or Nederpop in Dutch. That is what we are going to talk about today, and if you I was do some research today, and I was amazed about the amount of Dutch people that are actually making it big in worldwide. Um, Granted, it took well, in the 60s, 70s we had a few that were really big across the pond, but 80s, 90s not so much. But now we have the dance acts, but we are definitely going to talk about in a few minutes. So let's start with some highlights from the old days. So here you have a four groups or persons. The first one is Golden Earring. Golden Earring is known for instance, Radar Love, which is a awesome track, one of my favorites. Oh, by the way, all the tracks that I'm mentioning or all the people that I'm mentioning are part of the Petrus Music Condo community Spotify list, which we will show you in a minute. But you can listen to them all by yourself. George Baker is also known across for. And now I have to admit that I have to watch myself because I have forgotten it for a bit. But it is. Let me check that very quickly. Of course, Little Greenback. That is indeed where he is very important, very international about. Others are, for instance, Shocking Blue, Venus. That is one of the ones that is really one that had a good top 10 hit also in the US. and the Nits not so much in UK and the US, but more in like the Scandinavian countries. So if you live in Norway or Sweden or Denmark, etc., you probably have heard of the Nits. So that is the last one of this slide deck that I have prepared for you guys. So again, Golden Earring, Radar Love, Shocking Blue, Venus, Little Green Bag from George Baker, and the Nits are also big in Scandinavian countries. So, but those are really the old ones. So the older groups. A few of them are still around. So they have been around for like 30, 40 years, and they're still going strong. However, of course, generally speaking, they have a little bit of a less of a hit. They're not like a hit machine like they were in previous decades. By the way, let me check if I have some comments, because somehow I have a feeling that my comments are not working correctly. Just give me a very shortly second to see that, if I'm not mistaken, and if not, I don't care. It's gonna be okay. So we'll see after that. See if we. No, all right. No worries. So I have some issues with the update of the comments, so I'll look at it in a few minutes and then we will move on. Okay. So the next one that I want to talk to you about is are these new people or artists or groups, and that is, for instance, this one, which is Anouk, which is a Dutch singer who has Nobody's Wife, Michelle, really a, let's say, a power chick, I would say. She's really good. She's like Alanis Morissette, not the way that she sings, but the 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 way that she sings, not the sound of her voice. I mean, she's really an Alanis Morissette kind of a person. Next up is Kane, who, from my perspective, really sounds like U2, Depeche Mode ish. Unfortunately, they're not anymore together at this moment. However, there are still some rumors that they might come back, so I have put them in anyway, because yeah, you never know. Next up is Esme Denters, who is a woman that has a YouTube channel which is really huge. So huge that everybody seems to know her. I noticed that she was at The Voice UK a year ago, or maybe 2 years ago, and there she was part of the Well I Am team. Unfortunately, she didn't make it, but she is one of the famous Dutch singers at this moment in time. Moving on with a really Dutch group that is doing very, very well, still doing very well. They were actually second on the Eurovision Song Contest, and that are the Common Linnets, with Ilse de Lang as the lead singer, and Waylon as also the other singer. They have really nailed it. It's a really of a country vibe to it, which I really enjoy. I have seen them playing live just about 20 minutes from here, and they are really good. And especially if you like country music or bluegrass or that kind of thing, go check them out. They're Dutch, but they are not solely Dutch. So the singers are the main singers are Dutch, but the other two people that are, guitar player and banjo player or bass player, they are Americans. So they have a nice mixture of cultural things going on. Let me see. I see René say you should add some titles again to the list. I actually have, René. So if you go to the list, you will see all of the groups that I'm talking about, and they are added towards the in the Petrus Musicano community list. And I'll show you that they're there in a few minutes. So don't worry about that; they are there. Moving on, and this is a little bit. These two people are a bit strange to be honest, because it's not really a mixture. It are two different things. But I just wanted to point out that if you look at Van Halen, they are actually a US band. However, they have a strong. The lead singers are actually Dutch from descent, so they're really Dutch people. So that is something which is funny. And Junkie XL, I put him in because Junkie XL is a, well, I would say a god if it comes to music. Um, he has the ability to do so much great music. He actually wrote the soundtrack of Mad Max, the new version of Mad Max, and that is, I mean, it's a really nice music. It's, of course, it's a little bit powerful, so some people might not like it, but he is the main man if it comes to like soundtracks. He's really good at that. So I wanted to tell you about that indeed. And it is going to be a very short segment about the Netherlands, but again, I have something to announce as well, and I don't want to step over the 30 minutes marker because I also have something lined up for my patrons, and I want to be able to do that. So, next up, and I think that this is, if anything, if we're talking about Dutch artists, I mean, we were talking about rock artists, with country artists, pop artists, but not really what I'm going to talk about next. If we are talking about Dutch artists, we are really talking about dance. We are a major contributor if it comes to the dance scene across the world. These are names that are all Dutch. I mean, Armin van Buuren, Freddie Coston, DJ Tiesto, and the list goes on and on and on. These are just three of them. These are new artists, well, rather new artists. We also have some older artists like Two Unlimited, Two Brothers on the Fourth Floor, and that kind of thing. So, if it really comes to the dance techno kind of way, yeah, then definitely the Dutch are the big ones. The big names are from the Netherlands, which I really like, to be honest. I have seen Armin van Buuren and in concerts, I believe 3 4 years ago, and that is so unbelievable. It's really a show, and of course, granted. A DJ is not really always playing music. However, what I really enjoy from Armin van Buuren is that he also occasionally just says, "Okay, I'm not going to go with the digital CD, USB devices. No, he is going to go with vinyl, and vinyl is very hard to not to camouflage mistakes, right? So it's a little bit more difficult. He kicks ass if it comes to vinyl. So, yeah, from my perspective, yes, he is not really an artist in the sense that he can play a lot live, but he does write his own music with together with other artists around the world. And I think he does a tremendous job of that. And the same thing goes for DJ Chesto and Ferry Costan. So actually, that this is about it for this show. I just wanted to point out that even though we are a very small country, I mean, we were talking about 250 kilometers from north to south, about 120-ish, I think, from east to west. These are just my own feelings, so it might not be correct, but we are very small, and we have these kinds of big artists around the world, which I really enjoy. Um, so that concludes the part of the Netherlands, and I want to talk about something which is totally different, and that is that this studio that I'm currently in, that will stop. I will break this studio down and create a new one. Let me just tell you why. So this studio, as you can see over here, is actually right in my living room. So if I do this, I don't know if you can hear that, but I was just knocking on my food table, my eating table. If I do this, which is just out of sight, I was actually hitting my my um, my couch. I needed to think about the word. So you can imagine it's really cramped. And after behind this, I have um, a well closet with all kinds of utensils and all kinds of other stuff that I'm not able to reach because of the studio. And also because it's really in the center of the living room, I'm not really able to clean up the mess in a good way. So I've been talking to my parents, I've been talking to people, say, what can I do to make this happen? And at first, this was the only thing that I could do. There was nothing else that I could do because the camera that I was using was sitting way over there and I really needed that space. And I didn't have that space anywhere else in this condo. It's really a condo. And just recently, well, a few months back, I bought one Mevo, and I now have a. Let me put that in for now. There we go, and I've got that one. That's that Mevo and that Mevo. So I have two Mevos to work with, and that gives me a lot of flexibility. But the fun part is they are really close because if I do this, I'm actually touching the Mevo. So the Mevo is really close to me. And that by itself means that I can actually make the studio very small. So I have been measuring the studio a lot lately, and I figured out a way to put that into a very small living room of 3 meters by 1.75 meters. That's about 9 feet and 6 feet on top of my head. So it's very, very close, a very close, confined space. And I can actually put everything there and not worry about it. Everything is from the ground because I have been buying trussing. So I can put a lot in on top and not have a lot of on the floor. So, and at this moment, I'm just waiting for 2 trussing corners, and as soon as those are arriving or will arrive, then I can actually start building that. And I now know that those 2 missing corners are actually at the company that I've been buying from, so they have it, and they actually already shipped it to the transport company. So probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I will have it, and then I can actually start the process of building up the new studio. And I'm really pumped about that because I actually have a very professional studio, and in all honesty, I could have not done it without my patrons, but I still need more patrons. So please be, if you are interested, just please look at Petrus Music Condo on patreon.com and support me. I will be giving more videos to my roommates, as I like to call them, and after this show, in about 10 minutes, I will go live via my mobile phone on a special location, which I'm unfortunately not going to tell you here, and to show you a final behind the scenes of this studio, and I will show you the mess of the new studio because now I have put all the trussing in there, and it has to get out. Everything has to get out of that room, and then I can start building it. Next week, Saturday, but then not at this time, but 2 hours earlier, I will be starting a stream to show you the build of the new studio. Of course, the 2 missing parts need to be here, but I'm just assuming that is the case. So then I'm gonna start that, and you will be part of that on Facebook. If that is not possible, then I will be going live also via mobile just to say hi. And that will be probably the situation for the coming few weeks, because the coming weeks are a little bit crowded. There's a lot going on a personal space. Also, we will have a fun fair in about 2 weeks from now, so there's a lot of noise, so you will hear the background noise, and I'm not able to really give you a good show at that time. And I am also going on a holiday for a few weeks. I will be trying to go live at the standard time, also when I'm in the US, because I'm going to the US, but I'm not sure if that is going to be feasible at this moment. So, but we'll see what happens, and I really, really appreciate, if you would join me. And of course, I will be going live or posting some stuff in the meantime. But the coming weeks is going to be crazy. Also crazy because I'm also going to do something else, which is the launch of a new show called Taekwondo. And I can actually show you, if you would like to, I can actually show you the leader of that show. So I hope that you like that. Not that one, so it's here. I'll show you the leader from the Taekwondo as I have created it, and I'm pleased to show it to you for the first time. So this is going to be the leader of Taekwondo. Isn't that cool? I love it. Let me see. There's a lot of things coming in, so let's see. So bluegrass, I'll have to check that. Floyd says, "Oh, that's about common limits. Good." And Floyd says, "I got a Mevo for the school. I volunteer for too. They love it." Yeah, I love the Mevos too. They're really small and they're really handy, and you can do quite a lot with them. So, for instance, I'm not sure I can actually show you what you can do. So I can actually just make this a little bit. If it doesn't, oh yeah, it does work. So I can now zoom in to this one. I can zoom to my computer like this, and I can zoom back on like this. So we have a lot of different possibilities with Amiibo, and I really like it. So let me see. Very well produced. He says. I assume that you're talking about the leader. Great. And René says he likes it as well. Thank you so much for your kind words. Again, for my patrons, but also if you're not a patron, head over to this location, Petros Musicando on patreon.com. If you become a patron right now, you will see a behind the scenes exclusive to your patrons, and you'll see the mess that I have at this moment in my condo. I'm going out for just 2-3 minutes to prepare myself for that stream, and I hope to see you next week for the build of the new studio. Thank you very much. Bye bye.